Hey Comeca family, welcome back to another edition of the Comeca Connection. This week we've been going over some of Jesus' parables. Today we're talking about the parable of the Good Samaritan. If you want to read along, it's in Luke chapter 10, verses 25 through 37. I'll give you a second to get to there. Alright. On one occasion, an expert in the law stood up to test Jesus. "Teacher," he asked, "what must I do to inherit eternal life?" "What is written in the law?" he replied. "How do you read it?" He answered, "Love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your strength, and with all your mind, and love your neighbor as yourself." "You have answered correctly," Jesus replied. "Do this and you will live." But he wanted to justify himself, so he asked Jesus, "And who is my neighbor?" In reply, Jesus said, "A man was going down from Jerusalem to Jericho when he was attacked by robbers. They stripped him of his clothes, beat him, and went away, leaving him half dead. A priest happened to be going down that same road, and when he saw the man, he passed by on the other side. So too, a Levite, when he came to the place and saw him, passed him on the other side. But a Samaritan, as he traveled, came where the man was, and when he saw him, he took pity on him. He went to him and bandaged his wound, pouring on oil and wine. Then he put the man on his own donkey, brought him to an inn, and took care of him. The next day he took out 2 denarii and gave them to the innkeeper. 'Look after him,' he said, 'and when I return I will reimburse you for any extra expense you may have had.' Which of these 3 men do you think was a neighbor to the man who fell into the hands of the robbers?" The expert in the law replied, "The one who had mercy on him." Jesus told him, "Go and do likewise." Now, before we get into breaking down what each person represented in the parable, I want to point out something. In verse 35, the Samaritan gave the innkeeper 2 denarii. That probably doesn't sound like much right now, but it was a full 2 days' wage, which was also enough to keep the man in the inn for up to 2 months. The Samaritan took this man that he didn't know and took care of him. He made sure he had a safe place and made sure that somebody was looking out for him. And he gave up 2 days' wage for a stranger. Now in verses 31 through 33, it talks about the 3 different people that had come across the beaten man. And those people are a priest or a religious leader, someone that we would all hope would help out in a time of need. A Levite, which was the second ranking in the religious leaders, right below a priest. And a Samaritan. Now, Samaritans and Jews did not get along. They actually practiced open hostility towards each other. So nobody would expect this Samaritan, a man that, wouldn't be seen as a very nice man, to stop and help the beaten man. Now instead, Jesus shows that the love of a neighbor can come from anyone, no matter what their background might be or where they come from. Jesus wants us to all be that Good Samaritan. Thanks for tuning in, guys, and have a great rest of your day. Hope we'll see you tomorrow.